Greetings, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself and introduce this channel. I created this channel for a variety of reasons, and so I want to take a moment to share about myself, about the kind of content you'll come across on this channel, and also why I created this channel and why I'm creating the content I am. And so I'll start with a little bit about myself. I've been in full-time ministry for the better part of the last 20 years. I also teach college courses as an adjunct professor in the fields of Bible and religion and theology, and really in ministry, and really a variety of different courses. My main area of interest in teaching and research is the intersection of theology and culture, and how they interact, and how they impact and affect us as individuals and as communities, especially as we often move through life in our very busy and nonstop culture. We don't take the time to reflect on the ideas, the beliefs, and the things that shape the things people say and do. And so that'll be part of what I'll be doing. And so a lot of what the content will be thinking about and reflecting on the intersection of theology and culture. And so I hope to post videos, usually 3 to 5 minutes, just short videos. Some of them might be a little bit longer, but just to share information and ideas and the ways that people have thought about and reflected on the intersection of theology and culture throughout time. But mostly we'll be looking at Western culture and some of the theological ideas that have shaped Western culture and Western society writ large for many years. And so at least two times a week, the plan is to have a day where I discuss something that's present in our culture. And so I will be focusing in on what's on most people's minds currently in our culture, which is the upcoming election. And thinking about, I'll be discussing Christian nationalism and various philosophical and theological ideas behind some of the things that you might hear, and that have definitions and are historically defined, and have taken different paths as people have applied and used them differently throughout time. And so we'll talk some about that, and then I want to look at the importance of history, how understanding our history and looking at the historical currents that were shaped by various intellectual and theological ideas that we don't often think about, that we don't often reflect on as we look at issues such as slavery and racism, white supremacy, and those kinds of issues that come up quite often. And but there's a very complex and difficult history that needs to be unpacked. And so that will be those will be at least 2 of the videos I post will discuss, the current cultural topic of the election and Christian nationalism, and then also this historical discussion surrounding racism and white supremacy, and how we can approach that in a way that is thoughtful and recognizes the complexity and difficulties of such a large topic, and its continuing influence on our own time. I often have to remind people that it's been just this year, 60 years ago, that the Civil Rights Act was signed and put into law, and that it was just only 160 years ago that the Civil War took place. So we're not that far removed, and prior to the Civil War, there's so much that informs and explains how we got to the Civil War and the racist ideas and theology that were baked into the churches and the people of those times. And so these are things that I plan to discuss, 2 of those videos. And then the hope is to do 3 videos, and the third will be looking at theology more directly. And so my area of interest is the relationship between humanity and God. So this is called theological anthropology. And we discuss this a lot in our churches. And it impacts everyone in Western culture. So the idea that human beings are broken and are in need of a savior is something that has deep roots in Christian history, but it shaped the theology of many of the thinkers and theologians of the Reformation period. And but there were other streams, and so we see what's called Christian humanism, which then eventually becomes, and this is reducing a little bit too much, but it becomes Christian humanism, or becomes secular humanism. That this, starting with the human being, and that they're capable of good things, and then focused on the flourishing, that human beings are capable of focusing on and bringing about their own flourishing. And as we see that going forward, but it had roots in Reformed theology. And so when we hear people talking about, the dangers of secular humanism, they often aren't aware of where that comes from. And so these are things that are important for discussing and understanding as we think about ourselves as individuals, as communities, as a species, right, humanity, but also as we think about our relationship to God, or as we don't, because the theologies of these times shape us in ways that we're not aware oftentimes. And so that's part of what I want to do, and how I want to, and the kind of content what I want to discuss. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that you're journeying with me. And as you'll see in my bio, you will see that the last thing I say after all these things, cultural critic, scholar, blah, 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 all those things, is that I'm worried. And our culture is in an unprecedented time. And we are in a moment that is going to shape our culture and our country and our churches and our people in ways that will continue to be towards the creative and healthier side, and ways that could be, and most likely will be, very destructive. And so, so these are things that I am concerned about, and they are related to many of the things I was just discussing. And so I will unpack these things over the course of time, and I look forward to journeying with you, answering your questions, getting to know you all, and hopefully be informative and encouraging to you as we journey alongside each other in this unprecedented time.